Did Idaho really try to sentence a man to death with autism? Yes. And did someone cover up who actually committed the crime against the Idaho college students? Allegedly, yes, per the police reports. But I found something very interesting today, and I'll share it with you. Let's read it together. There's an amazing article that was put out by the Idaho Statesman. It's a local magazine newspaper, and they're online. Well, they did a featured story on Ann Taylor a little while ago, and they've done an update, which is very well done, because Ann is a attorney. She was a single mom at one point. I love that about her. She's very tenacious, very dedicated to her clients. She has had some amazing case wins. But let me share this with you. Ann never gives up on a client. However, in this case, when I called Ann's office, they said they could not help Bryan Kohberger, and they couldn't recommend any attorney to help at this point. So we are launching a website. We are doing this legally and making a trust to donate to Bryan Kohberger's defense. Now, with that being said, any donations that come from here as of yesterday and on my YT channel will go to maintaining the website. Now, if you want to donate, go to the YT, leave a super chat. I'm not asking for anybody's Cash App or Venmo. I'm not making a GoFundMe. But something else I want to share about Ann Taylor. She is very passionate about our constitutional rights as a defense attorney. And that is basically, the defense is the go between the court and supporting our constitutional rights. So did Idaho maybe railroad Bryan Kohberger because he is factually innocent? There is no proof of him even being connected to this crime after reading police reports, after listening to the press conferences. It is wild why this man is sitting in prison for life for something he did not do. Let's finish the article. Her colleagues even say that she sleeps when she can, but they're not sure when because she is that dedicated to a client. She was also the defense attorney for Joseph Anthony Thomas for the unaliving of his ex-wife, and you can go read about that article. Now remember, Ann used to be a prosecuting attorney on the other side of the table in court. Now she is a defense attorney, and the role that she takes is looking out for the interest of some people she used to prosecute. Keep that in mind because I'm doing a follow-up. She went into private practice last year in June, according to the state secretary records. So there's a question that a lot of people have been asking. She is in private practice. And here's something very interesting. In this case, the FBI kept limited records and had not previously turned them over to prosecutors. So it was very difficult to get documents because of the secrecy. So after Taylor's request in this case, prosecutors obtained the records and finally turned them over to the defense. Now, what happened in this case that just totally tanked it? Well, the media, the sources of the media. And it was going to be very, very hard to convince a jury of reasonable doubt with all the media tainting that we've learned is actually factually false. There was no Tinder. There was no stalking. He was not at the house. We heard the defense and the prosecution say he's factually innocent. So why is Kohberger sitting in prison for something he did not do? Now, we know he pled guilty to avoid the death penalty. That is very clear. He has some avenues to go to defend himself still, but he needs private counsel. Now, Kohberger didn't have a problem with his attorney. Kohberger told the judge he wished to retain Taylor as his attorney. He trusts a woman. He's very good to women. I've spoken to a friend of his, a colleague, and said he would never hurt anyone. Now, Ann continued to defend him, and yes, she was paid per this article, and there's more. And I will shout this from the rooftops as a veteran. I served in the military. I took an oath. The defense saw those records, and they knew within a shadow of a doubt his constitutional rights were violated when the FBI used public DNA genealogy to link and go get the trash, to link him to this building fake evidence. Now, I will say that all the DNA excluded Kohberger from being at this scene, not knowing any of the victims. Anne is serious about fighting for your constitutional rights. If anything, she did her job to the best of her ability based on the application of law. However, there was so much judicial misconduct, allegedly. Like and more. Like to follow for more. I will not give up. That website launches tonight. Be well.